is mathematical, is philosophical, that doesn't speak about the music. It's all those things and more. It speaks about our reaction to it. And the best proof of that is that...
Have you ever had Parkinson's disease? Comment 1 if so. At 82, Daniel Barenboim has spoken publicly about his battle with Parkinson's disease, but he remains committed to conducting when he can. Could the disease change the legendary conductor's career? Discover Barenboim's journey through the challenge and his musical legacy. Daniel Barenboim shocks the world with Parkinson's announcement. Renowned conductor Daniel Barenboim confirmed his Parkinson's disease diagnosis after years of speculation about his health. The news stunned the classical music community. The maestro has shaped classical music for over 6 decades, and his diagnosis has quietly affected his performances and career choices. The Argentine-born Israeli conductor finally acknowledged his battle with Parkinson's disease. The 82-year-old maestro had previously mentioned health issues without specifics. Now, he revealed the neurological condition that forced him to reduce his conducting schedule. Barenboim stepped down as general music director of the Berlin State Opera in January 2023 after 30 years. He said he could no longer perform at the level I used to, blaming declining physical capabilities. His recent disclosure explained the medical challenge behind that decision. The conductor shared his diagnosis through a thoughtful statement that showed both honesty and resolve to keep contributing to music whenever possible. Though Parkinson's limits some of his performing abilities, he stays committed to his scheduled performances as his health allows. Music has been my life's work and passion, Barenboim noted in his statement. While this diagnosis presents challenges, I remain dedicated to music and to sharing it with audiences whenever possible. His openness about the diagnosis stands out at a time when many public figures keep their health private. This approach differed from his earlier years when he stayed quiet about his specific health challenges. The classical music world showed overwhelming support after Barenboim's announcement. Fellow conductors, students, and major orchestras worldwide praised his courage and transparency. The Berlin Philharmonic, which shares a long history with Barenboim, celebrated his extraordinary contributions to music and showed solidarity during his health challenges. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra, his former home as music director, praised his steadfast artistic integrity despite personal difficulties. Fans and musicians flooded social media with supportive messages. Many applauded his honest approach, noting how it might help reduce stigma around neurological disorders among performers. Music institutions highlighted Barenboim's strength. The West Eastern Divan Orchestra, which he created with Edward Said, shared a touching message. Maestro Barenboim has always taught us that music exceeds physical limitations. His courage in facing this challenge embodies the very spirit of our orchestra. Medical experts who specialize in musicians' health added their perspectives. They explained that while Parkinson's creates unique challenges for conductors who need precise motor control, modern treatments help many artists continue performing with proper support. Barenboim's choice to share his diagnosis matches his lifelong dedication to authenticity. He has always been direct and principled about various issues. Concert halls with scheduled performances by Barenboim updated their plans. Most offered to adjust programs or make alternative arrangements so he could still participate. The response to Barenboim's news reflects his towering presence in classical music. As both pianist and conductor, he has guided generations of musicians and connected different cultures through projects like the West Eastern Divan Orchestra. Despite public attention, Barenboim keeps music as his priority rather than health challenges. Sources close to him say he still works with young musicians and helps plan artistic programs for his longtime organizations, though with adjusted schedules. How have Daniel Barenboim's health struggles played out over time? Despite battling Parkinson's disease, he has continued to maintain his passion for music and his esteemed career. Learn about the challenges Barenboim has overcome and how he has maintained his fighting spirit throughout this journey. How Barenboim's health struggles unfolded over time. The public watched Daniel Barenboim's health decline through a series of worrying developments. One of classical music's most prolific conductors had to rethink his packed schedule before he officially announced his Parkinson's diagnosis. Signs of Barenboim's health problems came to light in early 2022. The maestro suddenly cancelled several performances at the Berlin State Opera, where he had served as general music director since 1992. The official explanation pointed to circulatory problems, with no mention of neurological issues. More performances got cancelled as spring arrived. Concerns grew deeper by April 2022, when the conductor pulled out of a prestigious concert series with the Vienna Philharmonic. These cancellations stood out because they broke Barenboim's usual intense performance schedule. The 82-year-old conductor rarely missed shows throughout his 60-year career and was known for his amazing stamina. A crucial moment arrived in October 2022. Barenboim spoke up about his health on social media and revealed he had a serious neurological condition without naming Parkinson's disease. His statement came as he stepped away from conducting at Berlin's Staatsoper Unter den Linden. "I must now put my physical well-being first," Barenboim said, showing a clear change in his priorities. All the same, he hoped he would return to conducting soon. Fall 2022 shaped Barenboim's career path decisively. Beyond his health challenges, he spent time contemplating his future commitments. Doctors told him to cut back on work, advice the famously energetic maestro resisted at first. His pattern of cancellations turned into a planned reduction of commitments by late 2022. Barenboim stepped away from conducting the New Year's concert with the Vienna Philharmonic in November, one of classical music's crown jewels and an event he should have led. The classical music world received shocking news on January 6, 2023. Barenboim would leave his role as general music director of the Berlin State Opera after 30 years. He explained in his resignation that health issues stopped him from delivering the performances at the standard I set for myself. Barenboim managed to keep his ties with the West-Eastern Divan Orchestra even as he left his main position. He and Edward said created this ensemble to encourage Arab-Israeli dialogue through music. He wanted to conduct this orchestra when his health allowed, highlighting its unique place in his musical and humanitarian legacy. Barenboim chose his performances carefully throughout 2023. His schedule dropped from 120 shows yearly to occasional appearances. Each performance needed thorough planning, with adjusted programs and sometimes modified conducting techniques that worked with his physical limits. Barenboim shared his thoughts on adapting in a rare summer 2023 interview. "The body has its wisdom. I learned, maybe too late, that we must listen to its signals." He thanked musical institutions for working with his changing abilities. He kept performing a few intimate piano recitals featuring Bach and Schubert, composers who had been part of his life since childhood. These contemplative performances let the maestro continue making music as large-scale conducting became harder. Barenboim's gradual step back meant more than just doing less work. It showed a fundamental change in how he viewed music and performance. An artist who built his identity on constant creative output now faced a profound challenge, accepting limitations while dealing with Parkinson's. The West-Eastern Divan, a symbol of cross-cultural harmony, faces an uncertain future. Will the ensemble continue Daniel Barenboim's legacy after he steps down as conductor? How the West-Eastern Divan Orchestra faces an uncertain future. The West Eastern Divan Orchestra faces an uncertain future as Barenboim battles Parkinson's disease. This orchestra, his 25-year-old most important humanitarian achievement, must chart a new course as its visionary founder's health limits his ability to lead. The West Eastern Divan Orchestra came to life in 1999 through a groundbreaking partnership between Barenboim and Palestinian literary scholar Edward said. They created what Barenboim calls a project against ignorance rather than a peace initiative. It has very flatteringly been described as a project for peace. It isn't. It's not going to bring peace, whether you play well or not so well, Barenboim explained. The divan was conceived as a project against ignorance, a way for people to truly understand each other's thoughts and feelings, even without agreeing. The orchestra gives musicians from conflicting regions a unique space to work together artistically. Israeli and Arab musicians share equal numbers, with additional members from Turkey, Iran, and Spain. This ensemble shows how music can exceed seemingly insurmountable barriers. Barenboim believes the orchestra shows an alternative model to the current situation in the Middle East. International recognition came as the orchestra performed at prestigious venues worldwide. They became regulars at the BBC Proms in 2003. Their landmark 2005 appearance in Ramallah made a powerful statement of cultural diplomacy. UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon recognized these achievements by naming the West Eastern Divan Orchestra a UN Global Advocate for Cultural Understanding in 2016. Barenboim sees untapped potential. The true greatness of the West Eastern Divan Orchestra will only be reached on the day it can play in Libya, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, Israel, Palestine, Turkey and Iran, the countries the musicians come from. Barenboim's health challenges led him to focus on the orchestra's future. After his Parkinson's diagnosis, he made it clear that his main goal was to ensure the future of the West Eastern Divan Orchestra. This reflects his belief that the ensemble is probably the most important activity of my life. Michael Barenboim, the conductor's violinist son, joined the orchestra at 14 and gradually took on leadership roles. As his father's neurological condition progressed, Michael stepped into the role of orchestral leader and became dean of the Barenboim Said Academy. This 2016 founded institution extends the orchestra's mission by offering musical training combined with humanities studies to students from the Middle East. The Middle East conflict creates more challenges for the orchestra's future. Michael Barenboim speaks about its impact on musicians. Each one deals with their problems in their way, but we help them all we can. We are there for them. Some just need to be alone to think. Others desperately need company. The orchestra stays true to its founding principles as Barenboim's health declines. The musicians recently stated, "Even in this darkest hour, we will still follow in the footsteps of our founders," Daniel Barenboim and Edward said. Michael Barenboim balances idealism and reality in his future vision. For utopia, and it's probably not going to happen in my lifetime. I want the divan to play in all the countries where its players are drawn from. Parkinson's disease changes the lives of many, but for a performer like Daniel Barenboim, it has an even deeper meaning. How does the disease affect the legendary conductor's ability to perform and his work? What Parkinson's means for a performing artist? Parkinson's disease creates unique professional challenges that go beyond typical health concerns for conductors who rely on precise physical movements and expressive gestures. Daniel Barenboim and other artists have had to think over everything in their craft due to this neurological condition. A conductor just needs extraordinary motor control. Small wrist movements keep the tempo steady, while subtle hand gestures show dynamic changes. Parkinson's disease attacks these abilities through its characteristic symptoms: tremors, rigidity, and bradykinesia, slowed movement. These symptoms strike at a maestro's artistic identity, especially when they've spent years communicating musical nuances through refined physical expressions. Rhythmic tremors can devastate a conductor's ability to lead. Musicians depend on clear signals, but even slight involuntary movements can confuse them. The disease's progressive rigidity might also restrict the expressive range of movements that defined Barenboim's conducting style throughout his career. The disease brings more than physical limitations. Cognitive symptoms affect a conductor's ability to multitask and process complex information. They must watch dozens of musicians, prepare for upcoming passages, and make quick interpretive decisions. This delicate balance shifts dramatically when cognitive processing slows down. Despite that, conductors with neurological conditions often develop new techniques to cope. Some use simpler gestures to save energy and stay clear. Others rely on their faces and eyes to communicate when hand movements become difficult. On top of that, it becomes vital to time medication around performances when symptoms can be controlled better. Barenboim stands among distinguished musicians who faced degenerative conditions while continuing their artistic work. Pianist Leon Flesher managed to keep an extraordinary career going for decades after focal dystonia took away his right hand's use. He discovered the left-hand repertoire instead of giving up on performance. Jazz legend Django Reinhardt shows another inspiring path. He created a completely new guitar technique after losing 2 fingers in a fire. His physical limitations pushed him toward innovative approaches that ended up expanding his artistry. Violinist Itzhak Perlman has performed from a wheelchair due to polio, showing that physical limitations don't reduce musical excellence. Pianist João Carlos Martins kept performing despite progressive hand paralysis by using specially designed gloves that allowed simple finger movements. These stories point to possibilities for Barenboim's ongoing contribution to music, though in different forms. His current selective performance schedule shows careful planning around his health's physical demands. A colleague noted, his musical mind remains as sharp as ever, even as his body presents new challenges. Parkinson's disease poses significant challenges for conductors, especially those like Daniel Barenboim, who have spent their lives communicating music through subtle gestures. What do you think about the ability of musicians to overcome these difficulties in their careers? Can musicians maintain their creative spirit in the face of physical limitations? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you and see you in the next videos.